How did you meet?
We met in 1980. I was in Paris, working in Paris, and Julia Morley called me, and that was 5 years after I was Miss World. And she said, "Oh, do you happen to be in Europe? I'd love to see you. Come over and be a judge for the Miss World." So at the last minute, I was so late because my plane was late, and I arrived late, and that's how I met Bruce. He was one of the judges too.
And quite fateful, really, because you nearly missed your plane. He almost didn't make it either.
And he was quite busy during that time, and he told Julia, if I could do one day, but I cannot do, you know, sometimes they do more days interviewing the girls, so...
So life could have been very different for the pair of you. Thankfully you did. So you sat on the judging panel, and you had somebody in between you.
I have Eric Morley. He was in between us.
So he was in between you. But very quickly afterwards, you got to know each other, and it just...
The whole night, yeah.
You danced all night, didn't you?
He asked me for a dance, and it was quite embarrassing because, first of all, I keep saying, "Are you sure you're an Englishman?" Because he danced like a Latin.
Yes, I
love dancing.
Feet, yeah.
Yes, and he immediately after that he just started talking to me. Even when the music wasn't playing, we just stood in the dance floor talking, and we never went back to our table.
When did you know that was the moment?
Well, that evening, he said goodbye to me, and he said, "Thank you for the most wonderful evening of my life." And I thought, oh, my God, you know. And he told me, I have 5 girls, you know, I'm separated. He told me so much. I mean, it was a long party, and we danced all night. And I could see people looking at us, but no idea anything about Bruce, who he was. And
Well, you were married in 1983. How has it worked? How do you keep that romance alive?
It seems like yesterday, really.
Does it?
It's been amazing, and how maybe not taking each other for granted, and we have a really good communication. We can talk about everything, and I think it's so important. I think it's so important to say you're sorry when you are, you know, in the wrong. We like the same things, so...
What did your mum
think? Are you noticing? No.
Yeah, no, I am. No, I'm taking it all in.
No, this is something that, you know, not anyone to give any advice to anyone, but it worked for us. It's just been unbelievable.
What did your mum think?
My mother, I never mentioned anything to my parents until more or less he asked me to marry him, because I didn't want to worry them. My mother and my father are younger than Bruce, just for a few years. They are, 3 of them are in their 80s now. But never been a girl to have, you know, many boyfriends or bring anybody. So I sat them down. They've been divorced, so I talked to them in a separate places. But I mentioned to them, you know, the age gap, and I said he's very young, and I'm in love. And I think for the first time, you know, I've been in love. So I think that's the way I sold it to them.
Well, your mum sounds incredible.
Delia is my mother, yeah.
Did she give you a book?
She gave him a book on the day of our wedding, and it's the one that everybody knows because we mentioned this so many times. It's called The Fountain of Youth, and it's about doing exercise where the monk used to do. I don't think she meant to really, she never thought Bruce, who is so methodical, he really was doing those exercises after a little while, and he did them forever and ever. And I think this is one of the reasons, you know, he kept so well doing this exercise. And not only she gave him a book, but she gave him a little note about little things. And it was until I arrived in England that I realized, after our very long honeymoon, that I was thinking, oh my God, I must be absolutely madly in love or absolutely crazy. Because I left my family, my job, my, you know, the weather.
So, if you enjoyed that, there's more of the same right here. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the best moments from this morning.